everyone. Today I am going to deal with the presentation of the topic Across Oceans of Influence, Indian Philosophical Threads in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. These are my personal information. These are the table of contents, which topics I have discussed in this presentation. So let's firstly discuss about T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, born on September 26 in 1888 at St. Louis, Missouri, U.S. He died on January 4 in 1965, London, England. He was an American English poet, playwright, literary critic, and editor, leader of the modernist movement in poetry. These are his famous works. Most famous works are Four Quarter and The Wasteland. He exercised a strong influence on Anglo-American culture from the 1920s onwards. He received awards like Order of Merit and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1948. His experiments in diction, style, and versification revitalized in English poetry. In a series of critical essays, he shattered old orthodoxies and created new ones. He collected materials from various myths, various language, and various literature, and he combined in one. So he make one new path for writers. So let's talk about The Wasteland. The Wasteland is a long poem by T.S. Eliot. It was first published in 1922. It initially published in Criterion in London in October, followed by The Dial in New York City in November. Later published in book form with footnotes by Eliot. Considered one of the most influential works of the 20th century. It expressed disillusionment and disgust of the post-World War First period. Portrays a stalwart and panicky fears, barren lusts, and human longing for redemption. The poem is renowned for its innovative use of language, fragmented structure, and rich cultural references. Initially, it met with controversy due to its complex and erudite style, and alternately denounced for obscurity and praised for modernism. Like at first, it was controversy, and then it famous that by it T.S. Eliot became very famous and the most prominent poet of his era. These are the 5 parts of the poem. First is the burial of the dead, a game of chess. Third one is the fire sermon. Fourth one is death by water, and fifth one is what the thunder said. Let's see the fire sermon. In which part of the poem T.S. Eliot tries to connect dot with Indian philosophy, or we can say that Indian myths or Indian thoughts. So we can basically find that mainly in this section fire sermon. He directly draws upon the Buddha's fire sermon in part third titled the fire sermon. The fire sermon was preached by the Buddha against the fires of passion, hatred, and infatuation. The title is borrowed from Buddha's famous sermon on the fires of desire, passion, and causing suffering. Eliot uses the Buddhist view that desire, passion is the root cause of the spiritual wasteland depicted. Reference to Buddha's teaching on renouncing desire and combined with Saint Augustine's view on asceticism. This collection represents the influence of Eastern and Western aesthetic traditions advocating renunciation. The burning imagery connects the Hindu rituals involving the sacred fires and the purification through the fire. As we can see that fire is in a Hindu or in many culture or religion, fire is considered as one of the most pure. We can say that pure in a symbol of purity. That's why this burning is very significant. That burning to burn your desire, burn your lust, burn your greed. Buddha in his speech tries to convey to everyone that burn your desire, greed, and lust. That and to detach yourself in the sense of to worldly desire, like that. In this, we can find that sexual perversion. We can identify in it. Draws upon Upanishadic concepts like a steel point and insights from texts like Brihadaranya Upanishad. highlights the universality of the theme of desire causing degeneration across the societies. Regeneration possible only by heeding techniques of moral religious leaders of East and West like Buddhas. Like we can say that T.S. Eliot connects in the the speech of Buddha and Saint Augustine. They both signifies the burning is very important to detach yourself from a worldly desire. So D.S. Eliot tries to collect them and make collage in this poem. Uh, Combining Eastern and Western aesthetic traditions. The collocation of Buddha's teaching on renouncing desire with Saint Augustine's views on asceticism represents the confluence of Eastern and Western aesthetic traditions and advocating renunciation. As we discussed earlier, that he tries to combine the Eastern and Western aesthetic traditions and the thoughts of Buddha and Saint Augustine. It connects a connection to Hindu rituals and imagery. As we say that the burning in Parsi in they celebrate their their festival with the fire. In Punjabi they celebrate Lori. The Hindus celebrate Holika Dahan. So fire is a one type of symbol which connects with to burn your worldly desire, your lust and greed. Not only the Buddhist concept of desire, passion causing suffering, but also to Hindu rituals involving sacred fires and purification through fire. As we see that use of Upanishadic concepts. In addition, drawing on Buddha's techniques, Eliot's fire sermon section also incorporates insights from Upanishadic texts like Brihadaranya Upanishad. Like we can say that it refers to Brihadaranya shloka, and then he gives example of this. And also it is said like the title Westland also at one side, at one view, we can say that it inspired from Buddha's fire sermon or speech of this detachment. Thunder's message in the Westland. What the thunder said in the Westland rose from Indian philosophy, particularly the Brihadaranya Upanishad. The Thunder's triadic command are self-control, compassion, and generosity, echoing Prajapati's technique. Like in that we have this part of Prajapati Brahma's Updesh to his three sons. Eliot rearranges the traditional order to emphasize giving as the initial step towards spiritual growth. The Thunder's message is situated within the narrative of spiritual growth or moral decay. Reference to Ganga and Himant we can find also in this. The call to action reflects the protagonist's journey towards self-awareness to redemption. We can find here the narrator is the Tiresias, who is we can find he is omnipresent, and he describes all the things. So at a moment we can find that self-awareness and redemption we can connect with that. Eliot's inclusion of Indian philosophy depends the thematic complexity of the poem. Indian philosophy helped him to deep down into the philosophy. Prajapati's timeless teaching, a path to inner harmony. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, Prajapati engaged in the dialogue with his threefold offspring, gods, men, and demons, imparting essential teachings for spiritual evaluation. Prajapati teachings emphasize the three core virtues: self-control, it means damyata; giving means datta; compassion means dayadhu. Self-control means to control ourselves in every moment. Like we can say that to detach ourselves from worldly desire. That nishkam karma we can also say that in this we can fit in this term. Giving, to give something; compassion, or to have pity for someone. These virtues are echoed in the Thunder threefold message, that, which encapsulates the essence of Prajapati's teachings. The dialogue between Prajapati and his sons underscores the timeless wisdom embedded in Indian philosophy. Like we can say that this episode Upanishad it reflects the profound engagement with Indian philosophical tradition, and it highlights universal relevance of this ancient teaching and addressing the existential dilemmas. Like it deal with a universal theme. So we can say that this is a universal. We can apply that this Westland is also is a universal poem. let's say da. Offspring. These are three offspring. Devs means God, Manavas humans, and Danavas demons. Devs receive according to T.S. Eliot. Devs receive instruction to self control means Damyata. Manav receive instruction to giving means Datta. Or Danavas or demons take instruction of compassion means Dayatam. In original, there's the Brihadaranya, there is a different story, but T.S. Eliot modified the story, and after that, he retells in this work. Let's say some spiritual symbols in other. At first, we can find that it's a geographical, but at a deeper level, we can find that it is a spiritual symbols like Himmat's reference. Himmat is a formidable mountain range, but we can see that it's a scared and majestic landscape, echoing themes of spiritual ascent and enlightenment. In Hinduism, it is like it is a very pure and religious place to visit, like Kailas and Mansarovar. So it also depicts that it evokes a sense of awe and reverence, highlighting that feeling of reverence to highlighting the transcendental nature of poem's journey. It also depicts the nature in religious form. Ganga's reference. We can find the reference of Ganga. The Ganga river carries deep cultural, spiritual significance in Indian tradition. We can find that Ganga symbolizes purity, renewal, and divine grace, and serving the source of spiritual cleansing and rejuvenation. That it also deals with themes of purification and redemption. Indian influence and spiritual symbolism in the Westland, like structural integration by this Indian philosophy, like including in it's Hinduism and Buddhism that forms integral part of poem structure. Like Sanskrit language and reference, he also uses other languages, but Sanskrit language and reference to Indian texts like Vedas, Upanishad, and Dhammapada are prominent. Like it gives it to deal with Eastern philosophy. Symbolism of water and sterility. The title Westland suggests that barren and sterile landscape, but draws parallels to the metaphysical quest symbolized by water Indian texts like the Rigveda and the Dhammapada. Spiritual thoughts and metaphysical pursuits are essential to overcome the sterility. Like we can find that the water and sterility, that barren land, and by water we can connect with that. They are connected and they combine with itself to make each other complete. Like influence of Buddhism, which we talk in Fire Sermon, message of compassion and control, which we talk in this what thunder says, like to have a compassionable and control over self. Symbolism and rain and redemption. Rain symbolizes the spiritual and resurgence, and redemption parallels the barren wasteland. Like we can say that thunder message signifies the path, restoring peace and other chaotic world. Importance of Sanskrit mantra Shanti. At the end, T.S. Eliot deal with that Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It represents vision of peace, that Vibhavana of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that order derived from Indian tradition. It signifies the culmination and the protagonist who has served as the structural element and reinforcing the poem's theme. Like circular structure and spiritual insight. Like we can find that cyclical nature of life and death in this. And Eliot also explored the basic theme of spiritual insight to contribute the poem's structural integrity. To conclude the poem, we can say that T.S. Eliot T.S. Eliot's The Westland is deeply influenced by Indian philosophical ideas and myths. Through his poem, Eliot weaves together themes of peace and compassion, detachment and pursuit of meaning, drawing from the rich tapestry of Indian philosophy and mythology. By incorporating these elements, Eliot not only enriches his works but also shares universal truths and resonate across culture and generations. This demonstrates the profound influence of Indian philosophy and mythology in shaping in Eliot's poetic vision, truly exemplifying the theme of across oceans of the influence in his masterpiece. Like we can say that by this, he also elaborate his vision of humanity or universality. We can find that in his essay, Individual and Talent, he says that one poet should detach himself in while writing their works. But he also, by reading this Westland, we can also say that he also cannot detach by his personal experiences. Like we find that sexual perversion and that spiritual degradation, which is derived or maybe inspired from his own life also. He also inspired by his Harvard University's Sanskrit professor to write these all things. By mentioning this, we can say that he actually conveys the he actually connects the Eastern world and the Western world together in one poem. So we can say that the Westland is deeply influenced by Indian philosophical ideas and myths. These are some references, and thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
So Pallavi, as you mentioned about the virus sermon of detachment, so can you provide other example of detachment in the virus sermon?
Other example, like we can take a philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Like in this, T.S. Eliot also refers that, but we can say that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also tells that one should detach themselves in that Nishkam Karma Yoga, or to do your work and detach yourself from worldly from fruit of that work. In one speech of Buddha, we can also find that detachment. In that aparigraha, we can find in Jainism there is a aparigraha. We can find aparigraha. It also talks about that detachment of to detach ourselves. We can find in this Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. In Yam, we can find that there is. In Yam, we can find that there is a step of to detach yourself to aparigraha, or to make your will strong to detach yourself. And like in this in a Vairag system, also we can find that sannyasi. So in sannyasi, in Indian, in Hinduism there is a sannyasi, and in Jainism there is a diksha. So we can find that all these terms, or all these philosophy or religious practices are basically trying to convey that to detach yourself from worldly desire. Anyone else?
Pallavi, according to you, how does the concept of Maya or illusion feature in T.S. Eliot's portrait of reality in the Westland?
We can say that in Maya, in the context of Maya, we can find example in this fire sermon when Buddha says that burning, burning, burning. When Buddha addresses that burning, to burn what? To burn your desire. To Maya, that means we are attaching with our. We can say that with physical desires, with our wishes, so Buddha tries to tells them to detach yourself. Illusion means to make yourself enough strong, or to take yourself at that higher position of spirituality, or we can say that at the state of mind that you can at that time attach with somebody attach with something, and at that same time you cannot involve fully in that. So at the we can find that by Buddha's this, or this Brihadaranya Da, we can also find in that first guy is self control. So in the Maya illusion, we can also find that self control is very important to control our desire, or our worldly desire. So T.S. Eliot by this example tries to portray the reality in the Westland.